1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has reaffirmed his commitment to promote the tourism sector and protect the environment through clean and green campaigns. The Information Minister says steps are being taken to improve the performance of the state media organizations to represent the national narrative at the international level. The Foreign Minister says India is trying to use the Financial Action Task Force for political purposes, but Pakistan will foil its nefarious designs. The Foreign Minister's portal at 5 Pakistan missions abroad was launched today to assess the issues being faced by the overseas Pakistanis for the better resolution. Pakistan says its commitment to fight terrorism in all its forms and manifestations without any discrimination is unwavering and unambiguous. Bloomberg reports that India has deployed 50,000 additional troops with heavy artillery and fighter jet squadrons on its border with China in the Ladakh region. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has reaffirmed his commitment to promote the tourism sector and protect the environment through clean and green campaigns. Addressing a function in Naran today, he said tourism has increased in the country this year, which will also enhance the revenues besides generating job opportunities for the local people. The Prime Minister directed the local district administration of Naran to take more effective steps for a clean environment in the area. He expressed the determination to make the country cleaner and greener for upcoming generations. Imran Khan urged the people to plant more and more trees to reduce the severe effects of climate change. He said the government has devised a comprehensive plan to tackle the timber mafia and violators of afforestation in the area. Earlier, the Prime Minister was briefed about the ongoing development and environment-related programs in Naran. Prime Minister Imran Khan has once again directed the Attorney General to engage with the opposition over electoral reforms. This was stated by the Minister for Information and Broadcasting Chaudhry Fawad Hussain in a tweet today. He said the Attorney General Khalid Javed Khan will hold meetings with the opposition's legal team and the Election Commission and brief them about the salient features of the electoral reforms. Fawad Chaudhry said the Attorney General will submit a report comprising proposals of the opposition on the subject matter to the Prime Minister. The National Assembly has approved 3 demands for grants pertaining to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting for the next fiscal year. The cut motions moved by the opposition were rejected by the House. Winding up the discussion on cut motions, the Minister for Information and Broadcasting Chaudhry Fawad Hussain said Radio Pakistan will be completely digitalized as part of efforts by the government to strengthen the institution. He said new programming of Radio Pakistan will be visible in the month of August this year. The minister said Pakistan Television will become fully HD in August, while APP will be transformed into a digital media news agency on the pattern of AFP and Reuters. Fawad Chaudhry regretted that the previous governments used the state-owned media as their spokesperson, but we are elevating them as the spokesperson of the state. He said the Ministry of Information will serve the purpose of promoting the narrative of Pakistan. The Minister for Communications, Murad Saeed, says inclusion of Western Route projects in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor will open a new era of development in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. Talking to the Chinese Minister of Transport virtually today, he thanked the role of Chinese Transport Ministry for this step. Murad Saeed apprised his Chinese counterpart about Prime Minister's vision for poverty alleviation, promotion of tourism and sustainable development. The Chinese minister appreciated the vision of Prime Minister Imran Khan and assured the support of his country for poverty alleviation. This is Radio Pakistan. The Foreign Minister Shami Qureshi says India is trying to use FATF for political purposes and Pakistan will foil its nefarious designs. In a statement today, he said the Financial Action Task Force is a technical forum and it should not be used for political purposes. The Foreign Minister said Pakistan has expressed its concern in bilateral talks with different countries. He said Pakistan will continue to work to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing in its own interest. He said the program given to us by the Financial Action Task Force during the last 2 years was very difficult to implement, but we did it. Shami Qureshi said apart from new legislation, we have attended 14 laws and taken administrative steps. He said China, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Indonesia and the Gulf countries have strongly supported us on this issue. The Foreign Minister's portal at 5 Pakistan missions abroad was launched today. In its pilot phase, the portal is available online for the overseas Pakistanis and foreign nationals residing in the jurisdiction of 5 Pakistan missions abroad, namely Barcelona, Dubai, Jeddah, London and New York. The Pakistani community and foreigners can download the app of Foreign Minister's portal from Android store from today and later on from iOS store, also to register their problems, suggestions and feedback. The cardinal objective of the portal is to directly engage with the Pakistani diaspora by providing them remote access to missions through modern means of communication. This will also help to assess the nature of the issues being faced by the overseas Pakistanis, leading towards their better resolution. Pakistan's commitment to fight terrorism in all its forms and manifestations without any discrimination is unwavering and unambiguous. This was stated by the Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry in response to media queries about remarks of the press office of Afghan Ministry of Foreign Affairs regarding Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan's activities in Afghanistan. The spokesperson said assertions of the Afghan side are contrary to the facts on ground and various reports of the United Nations, which also corroborates the presence and activities of over 5,000 strong Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in Afghanistan. He said Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, following its orchestrated reunification with its splinter groups with the help of hostile intelligence agencies, its continued presence in Afghanistan with impunity and its cross-border attacks against Pakistan pose persistent threat to our security and stability. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the all-parties Hurriyat Conference has warned that any further delay in the settlement of the Kashmir dispute could produce devastating consequences on a larger scale. In a statement, the APHC Secretary General Maulvi Bashir Ahmad Irfani, in a statement issued in Srinagar, urged the United Nations Secretary General to impress upon India to stop the genocide and take measures for a peaceful settlement of the lingering Kashmir dispute. Meanwhile, the Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred one more Kashmiri youth in Srinagar today. The youth was killed by the troops during a coordinated search operation in Parimpura area of the city. Bloomberg reports that India has deployed at least 50,000 additional troops with heavy artillery and fighter jet squadrons at its border with China in the Ladakh region of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir over the past few months. The global media outlet says over 450,000 Indian troops and paramilitary forces are already stationed in the area, where both the countries clashed several times last year. Terming the Indian move a historic shift toward an offensive military posture against China, Bloomberg said fear now is that any miscalculation could lead to a deadlier conflict between the two countries. And finally, the weather. Mainly very hot and dry weather is likely to prevail in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain with wind and thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.